Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Wallop Media Live presents our WrestleMania 42 after show. It's night one of WrestleMania weekend, and it's Rylan Turner and Kyle Joseph joining you here. Kyle, how are you feeling? Night one is over and done with, and I feel like we have both different opinions about night one, but are you enthusiastic going into night one, or coming out of night one, rather?
No. And here's the thing. People are going to hear that and be like, oh, classic Kyle hates wrestling, blah, 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 blah. Except I don't hate wrestling, but there wasn't a lot of it on this show.
Yeah.
So I went back and checked out the last 5 night ones of WrestleMania. Bell to bell, what the match lengths were. 38. That was 100 minutes of total bell-to-bell wrestling time. Now, some of that was a little bit down because of the fact that Stone Cold and Kevin Owens didn't really get going until they, they had some stuff happen before the bell. But even still, 39, 117 minutes. Which I think is probably about what you'd expect for a night of WrestleMania. WrestleMania 40 was 124 minutes, almost 125 minutes, but that was, lest we forget, WrestleMania 40 had the match that never ends, Bloodline v. Rhodes and Rollins. So that was a little bit higher, inflated because of that. 41 last year's WrestleMania, 105 minutes. This year, 85.
Yeah. If there's one thing we will agree on tonight is that a lot of these matches, unfortunately, went very short. And
we're replaced with commercials.
Yes, I was going to say it would be one thing if there were big angles on this show. Like, don't get me wrong, there were surprises and there were angles done on this show, but the amount of ads that we had to sit through for, like, and don't get me wrong, like I have an ad tier Netflix account because I am a child of the 90s and I lived through commercials and I don't care. Like, it's $7.99. It's $7.99 versus like whatever it is, $20 a month.
Yeah, that's what I'm paying. And it was still there was still a bunch of ads.
Right. But what then I was going to say, what it told me tonight is because there were regular ads that I would normally see when I'm watching something on Netflix. In between the fact that like it would just come to at the same time. So like obviously the people who were paying for the ad-free version still got all the WWE ads. You just didn't get all the trailers for the Netflix.
Oh no, I still got all those, which okay. I need to have a look at the Netflix thing because if I'm paying whatever I'm paying, it's way too much if I'm getting this much ad content being fed at me. So the other thing that I want to say, like the ads were a big problem, and then just everything felt very short. It didn't feel like WrestleMania. The pageantry wasn't really WrestleMania-y. Like a lot of that type of stuff, it felt like a wrestling show. WrestleMania isn't supposed to feel like a wrestling show. It's supposed to feel like this grand spectacle. And also the fact that they ran it at the time that they did, and I know that you appreciate it being able to be done early, but the fact that it was in the Pacific meant it was light the whole time. Which is, let's be honest, kind of weird. I get why they did it, but it felt very weird. There was no, like, it felt like it lost something to me. And we'll go into the actual matches too. But before we get to that, I did want to make one more point about this time thing, just to be like, I don't want to feel like I'm harping on this. Rylan, do you know how many matches tonight went 9 minutes or less?
I would say most of them.
Yes, that is correct. It was 4. Do you know how many matches at WrestleMania 41 went 9 minutes or less?
Probably 2.
3. Grande Americana versus Rey Fenix, Orton versus Hendry, and the women's tag titles, Valkyria and Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Those are the three. Tonight, the whatever it was, the 6-man went under, the women's tag went under, Becky and AJ went under, which is inexcusable, but even more inexcusable, Liv and Steph were 9 minutes hard.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about
again, don't disagree with any of these takes, or thoughts rather. Let's get into it, Kyle. Actually, before we get into it, Kyle, I guess there's only one question. Hold on. Has anyone ever told me that these are Don Callis glasses? Well, Don Callis and myself are both Winnipeggers, so I guess that's something we have in common.
Those are Don Callis sunglasses, to be fair. Not wrong.
Well, I'm also wearing a kimono. Like, it's WrestleMania, guys. Like, we're getting wild today. All right. So, Kyle, there's only one question before we get into. There's only one question that I have for you before we get into the WrestleMania 42 review, and that is:
Are you ready?
No, but sure. Let's talk about it.
All right. Are you going to lead us through this, or do you want me to do so?
I can lead us through the matches. Opening match was The Vision and I Show Speed versus the Usos and the LA Knight. I don't know what to even really talk about as far as this match goes.
This was fine. It did not overstay its welcome. It highlighted the celebrity guest in a way that made him look good and not look, super out of touch with what the product is. Obviously, I Show Speed is somebody who actually genuinely, like, we've seen footage of him training and what have you with some of the pros. Most notably, him training with Randy Orton on how to take chair shots was something else. But we talked about this in the previous show. If there's one celebrity that I don't have a problem with coming in, it's I Show Speed, because of what he took from Braun Breaker last year at the Royal Rumble. Also, I found out today that my kid enjoys I Show Speed. So this was the pivotal moment for me in my wrestling fandom where I'm like, all right, I'm okay with this kid. I'm okay with him.
This is fine, but the only thing I'll say about this is this didn't get me excited for WrestleMania as an opener.
No.
I get why they did it, but it was boring. It wasn't bad per se, but it was boring. There was nothing really to this match. It was very paint by numbers. Nothing particularly exciting happened. What was the biggest spot of the match was post-match. And with a match with guys like Austin Theory in it, there should have been more. But it was not longer, but, more excitement. But it did what it had to do.
Right.
I don't know if you have any more thoughts about this.
Again, I thought that celebrity involvement was fine. You're right. It wasn't the most spectacular match on the card, but it also didn't offend me. I wasn't sitting there going this is stupid. This is silly. It was just, it was what I expected it to be.
Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu had an unsanctioned match with Jacob Fatu winning it. Okay. So I'm going to say I have two thoughts about this match. One, this was fine, inoffensive, fairly solid. But two, this is an unsanctioned match, and that's kind of unforgivable. There wasn't a lot to this. There was a couple bumps, but they got all of this plunder. And let me be clear about one other thing. Oh, they're breaking. It's such WWE bait and switch. Oh, look, they're breaking out the toolbox. Look at all the tools, all the different options. And what did we get? Drew McIntyre doing some of the most safe wrench damage I've ever seen. And a couple chair shots. Like, if you're gonna be this was PG-13. Ooh, it's an unsanctioned match, but it's allowed to say ass. If you're gonna do an unsanctioned match, then it has to be exciting. This was kind of boring.
If this show had a title, it would be "And It's Allowed to Say Ass." That's great. I disagree with you. I will say, like, when we did our preview show with Vince, the one thing that I said about this match is I thought that it needed to be violent. It needed to be like that's what it needed. I thought they got around it. It wasn't super violent. No, there was nothing super crazy about it. The toolbox spot I like, because what they're calling back to is the spot with CM Punk, right? So like,
sure, but they actually use the freaking tools. Like, this is the problem. Sure. Don't pour the tools again. It would be like pouring thumbtacks and then sweeping them and then getting a brush out to sweep them away and working around them. Like,
I guess. I don't know. This match didn't offend me. I thought Drew looked strong throughout it. I thought Jacob looked good coming out the winner.
I don't think it was a bad match, to be clear. It's just, if you're going to do an unsanctioned match, then it needs to have, like, you're basically trying to do an overbooked car crash. And this was, like, as far as a match goes, it was fine.
Yeah.
The two,
I feel like it's on par with what Drew did last year with Damian Priest.
Sure, but that's like, on last year's show, that was a pretty forgettable match. On this year's show, this was one of the better matches of the night, but it was not at all what it was built up to be. You build it as an unsanctioned match. You got the referee with the black thing and with the gloves that he didn't need because there was no blood in it. Like,
yeah, and you know what? Like, maybe simply this was like a pivot with the main event going the direction it did, and maybe plans. I don't know.
Sure,
like,
but you. Again, this is WrestleMania. This is WrestleMania. If you're going to book this show as it is, and presumably they knew how the main event was going to go for a while. Like, you're going to book this show, and we'll talk about that main event because I have very mixed feelings about that too. But if you're going to book this match to be unsanctioned, it wasn't as bad as Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar, but it had the exact same problem where, Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar in a hardcore match, that could be exciting. Brock doesn't feel like doing hardcore match, so it's just going to be wacky Dean taking some suplexes. Whereas it wasn't a bad match, but if you're going to do the stipulation, you have to do the stipulation. If you just had Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu, this would have been fine. And it didn't need any of the plunder that it had. Like, Fatu doing the table spot was fine.
I was going to say that the table spot I really liked. I love both table spots, really. Like, Fatu took the big dive to the outside, and then he got Drew in the end with the man, that the moonsault that Fatu hits is
it's a very good moonsault. But again, this was a match. It wasn't very exciting. And again, not to be whatever, AEW's kind of owned the unsanctioned match now. And if you're not going to raise it, I'm not saying you have to bring it to AEW level, because AEW goes far with these things, and clearly WAW does want to go to that level. But no blood in an unsanctioned match. And moreover, not even like, what was the most scary looking bump of that? The double chairs?
Yeah.
Where McIntyre
he did, but he did curve the hell out of one of those chairs. So, like,
sure, but it's like, I've seen basically any hardcore match at a takeover. I've seen more.
Sure, but like we also are conditioned as 2026 wrestling fans to have seen all of this violent stuff. So like every time we see a match like this, and don't get me wrong, there's a part of me that agrees with you about WrestleMania, but like I didn't feel like this offended me in any way, shape, or form.
Don't
And
call it an unsanctioned match. Just book it
I
as a
don't
match
disagree with it.
or a hardcore match.
No disqualification.
Whatever you want to do. Like you can have table spots in a no DQ match. That's fine. This felt like the toolbox really offended me because it's like it was such a classic WWE bait and switch. If you're gonna break out a toolbox, you're gonna have to use some of those tools instead of like he kneecapped him. Was he slightly knocked a wrench into his knee?
He drove the wrench into his face for a minute there, into his eye. But I will say, like, I don't
the round part of the wrench, like oh, look at the damage I'm doing to my face. Oh, it's a steel can being driven into my face. No. Nice try, WWE.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, but like I enjoyed this for what it was. I thought both guys worked really hard, and I thought it was good. I thought it was good. But again, let's get to the next thing. Where are we going next? It was too short. No, actually, hold on.
Yeah,
it was when. That's great, Will. That's great. I can't wait to talk to him later.
I'll just show this as well. Yeah. Like,
okay.
They're not, it wasn't bad. It was fine as a match, but you called it an unsanctioned match. Like, you did this to yourself, is all I'm saying. Anyway.
That's fair.
Next match was the Irresistible Forces defending their tag team championships against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, and Brie Bella and, oh, surprise, it's Paige.
Cool moment. Cool. Paige is back. I thought this match was fine. I thought Paige looked really, really good. I thought she looked better than some of her moments in AEW.
Don't disagree.
She looked like she's been working for a minute, and I'm excited to see what she's going to do. The Bellas, or I guess the Bellas with Paige, go over and win the tag team titles, which is fine.
Kind of weird, but whatever. Like, I'm not upset about it, but it's very odd because Paige when Paige debuted, her whole role in WWE was very much to be the anti-Bella. Right?
Yes. I would, but I mean, over the time we've come to learn as wrestling fans that those ladies have all been friends for a long time,
which is great. I will say, if there's anything I'm excited for coming out of this, it's Paige versus AJ Lee. That's a match that definitely needs to happen. Okay. But
fair,
because I don't think they ever crossed paths. Because I think
Paige versus AJ Lee. Paige was the one who took the title off AJ before she retired.
You're right. But it was very close to the end of their of AJ Lee's run was Paige's come up in the company. So I wouldn't mind seeing those two have another shot at it again. Anyway, this was fine. This is one where the opening match I didn't think was too short, and I didn't think the unsanctioned was too short. This one was too short. Yeah. This was, and I get why they did it. There were
moments of it that certainly felt rushed.
Yes. But it was too many people for a match under 9 minutes. 8:35 is way too short. It was exciting. I think everyone was excited to see Paige, and we got a lot of Paige in this, but Bayley and Lyra were in this match too, but were they? Not really.
Yeah, they were just kind of pieces. What's funny, going into this match, those two were kind of the favorites to win up until we got this Paige introduction. So I kind of feel like they're two pieces that kind of feel like leftovers in this whole situation. And that being said, it would be cool to see Brie Bella and Paige against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, and maybe there's a program in that.
Sure.
If you're gonna pivot away from those two, like at least have something interesting, and I think this is interesting. So
yeah, there's options. It's just, again, I'm going to keep harping on this because this is going to be one of the one of the things that I'm going to keep harping on with WrestleMania is that it's WrestleMania. This is the night where things end. And this didn't feel like an ending. This one didn't need to as much, but because, it's just sort of a match. It was a match to get a bunch of people on the card. But the lack of finality for some of this was kind of odd. And this was the first one where I was like, okay, it's clear they're going in a direction, but they clearly don't have, like, especially Nia and Lash. I'm fascinated to see what the direction is going to be for them because I didn't feel like they really were involved.
I think those two are going to be just fine. Like, firstly, love the name. Irresistible Forces, like, love the presentation of those two.
Great. I agree.
I think that those two will be just fine. These titles, like, dude, like, they bounce around like crazy.
Sure, so, but the reason they do is because there's no tag teams. It's just sort of, I think we talked about this match almost as long as it went. Like,
yeah, it's fair.
This is my point. It's just like, and God, if we're gonna talk about matches that were too short, boy, AJ Lee defended her women's intercontinental championship against Becky Lynch, losing it in a very quick match.
Yeah, what did this end up going? Like 6 minutes?
8:15.
8:15.
Your mic is
it's starting to
like fuzz.
Okay, well,
I'll give my thoughts and I'll see if you can come back with it. This wasn't bad, but it felt like it was building to something and never got the chance to get there. I think the big thing about this particular match is that this was a story that we've been building for quite a while with AJ and Becky, and a story where, this is going to be the resolution of this particular match. They've been building to this match, this show. It was supposed to be their big blow off, and it was rushed. It felt rushed, and it started pretty slowly for a match that was only going to go 8 minutes. Like, when it started, I was like, okay. And I remember Tiffany, because Tiffany watched the show with me. She sort of turned to me and was like, who do you think's going to win? Because she was grabbing food for a moment. I was like, who do you think is going to win? I was like, what do you mean? The match between AJ and Becky. Oh, it's over already. Becky won. It just felt very rushed to. And
this was the first match that I started to notice that, like, we were kind of on a trend of very, very little wrestling in the ring.
And then on top of it, we're building to a story between Becky Lynch and Jessica Carr that didn't pay off. This is Mania, y'all. This is where your stories end, Paul. And once again, AJ Lee felt a little bit forgettable in a story building between Becky and Jessica Carr for some reason.
Well, the story between Becky and Jessica Carr has been going on for quite some time.
I'm aware, but my point is the champion, or former champion, I guess, shouldn't feel like an afterthought, and she shouldn't lose her title in 8 minutes.
No, she certainly, like, so when I watched the match at Elimination Chamber, I went, man, they had a great match, and they left something in there for what I expect to be a great WrestleMania match. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of felt like they gave half the effort they gave in the last match.
Their Elimination Chamber match went 15 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah, like
this is Mania, y'all.
This should have been 20 minutes, maybe 25, and we know both ladies can do it. So
absolutely.
What's the excuse here?
Commercials.
At this point,
we had more commercials to get to.
That's my point.
I do want to know, for anybody who's listening in the chat, any Americans watching, were there a lot of commercials on the ESPN app? Because Rylan and I watched this on Netflix because we're both Canadian. So we got, God, if I have to see one more commercial of the, live action One Piece, or I don't even know what other Netflix shows. I know all of them coming up now. I'm not super excited about any of them. Never mind. Live action One Piece and animated Stranger Things, because Netflix is all about that switcheroo.
Not to mention the Hulk Hogan documentary that we got shoved down our throats. Now that documentary in question, I am curious because I don't really feel like Netflix took it easy on Vince. Would you say?
I mean, I feel like there were some punches pulled, but they for the most part put the story out there. But are they going to do that about Hulk Hogan, especially when Hulk Hogan is dead now and can't defend himself?
We'll find out. Well, I guess we'll find out.
I would be very surprised. But regardless, I am madder about a match that we have coming up later, but for Becky and AJ to get this, well, that was the other thing. We couldn't fast forward through the commercials on Netflix because it was done in an ad break thing. I don't think you could actually skip through that stuff. Actually, maybe you could. I don't know.
Well, Will has stated that he started 15 minutes late. So right. He had the advantage of being able to skip through some of the stuff. I don't know. For me, I certainly wouldn't have been able to skip through the ads that were already built into the fact that I don't pay for ad-free Netflix. But whether or not we would have been able to skip these WWE ads that were already built into the show, I don't know.
Maybe. That was the other thing. The casino ad with Drew McIntyre and Tiffany Stratton. Oh my God. Some of the worst acting I have seen. Drew in particular. Tiffany Stratton was fine, but anyway, this was way too short. It wasn't bad, but it didn't really have a chance to get going, and then it was just suddenly over. And again, we had a problem with the Jessica Carr and Becky Lynch thing is still going. That story is still ongoing.
It kind of feels like this match should have been reversed. Becky should have kept the title at Elimination Chamber, and that AJ, if we're going to go 8 minutes, AJ should have gone over here and had the big WrestleMania moment instead of winning the title, in February and just kind of coasting for the last few weeks.
I agree with you on this. The Tiffany Stratton part was also bad, but go back and watch that ad. Drew McIntyre's acting was worse.
Is this Tiffany? Is this Tiffany? I have to know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Anywho.
It's a T. So
yeah. Alrighty then. We're gonna move along. We'll move on to some good wrestling. Gunther and Seth Rollins wrestled for no reason with nothing on the line. It was the best match on the show.
Yeah. And man,
no one's surprised.
No, absolutely not. This match was fantastic. It could have got another 10 minutes though. It also felt rushed. It also kind of felt rushed a little bit. I mean, don't love the ending, but I saw the ending coming a mile away.
Yeah.
So
we got Braun Breaker. We got Braun Breaker, which was a fun inclusion. He got to, this is my girlfriend. We got.
I'm so upset that you only just figured that out.
I wasn't sure. Anywho, I don't know your handle on YouTube. Anyway, not important. The important thing is
you're live, folks.
Yeah. Anywho, Braun Breaker inclusion was cool. He got to do probably the most exciting spot of the entire show was him running down the whole stage to deliver the spear.
The poor guy, by the end of that run, looked so gassed. And when he finally hit that spear, it did not hit as hard as I think he wanted it to. Like the first one looked way better.
Yes.
But like I understand why they wanted to do the spot, but like that poor guy, like when they showed it in slow motion afterwards, he's just gassed at the end there.
But like that was exciting. Gunther and Seth was the match was great. These two wrestled a really, really fun match. The ending was, it was maybe a bit telemark, but again, that's at least a conclusion in a new direction. It's a reminder that Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker have unfinished business, and that is the perfect match to build to a WrestleMania Backlash.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's something different than what you have at WrestleMania. Whereas a lot of this other stuff felt very unresolved. Like maybe those things are wrapped up, but the stories are wrapped up. But like say Becky and AJ, I don't think Becky and AJ are going to go on beyond this. But boy, was that a bad finality to what has been a pretty good long running story.
I would agree. I disagree. I think there's one more match between those two. Like one more singles match.
Maybe. But like this is the point, this is where things are supposed to end. And a lot of the show didn't feel very final.
Yeah.
We move on to the next match, which Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vicaire wrestled.
This is the match that went 6 minutes, isn't it?
It's 9.
Oh.
Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vicaire had a Liv Morgan did a music video of her music video.
Yeah, so we haven't mentioned it. This was so bad. This music video was so fucking bad, and this entrance was not great either.
Stephanie Vicaire had a really cool entrance. She wore a ball gown, had the rose petals falling. It was really great. And I think the entrances went about as long as the match did. This was the most SmackDown-y match that ever did SmackDown.
What's funny is I watched SmackDown this week, and you know what should have been on the WrestleMania card this year? The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And I'm not saying that this match should have been replaced by that. What I'm saying is that match on SmackDown felt like WrestleMania, and a lot of this, especially your world title matches, I agree with you, did not feel like WrestleMania caliber matches.
The pomp and circumstance was here for this match. It was not great pomp, but like Vicaire's entrance was great. But my point is the match itself was a very SmackDown-y match. We had Vicaire starting strong. She hit Liv with Oblivion at one point, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Run-in from Judgment Day. Oblivion, that's your lot. 9 minutes. No Devil's Kiss. None of Vicaire's signature offense. She didn't get a lot in, aside from hitting Liv's move. And Liv's the champion. She got a 9-minute match at WrestleMania. Thanks for winning the Rumble, Liv.
Yeah. No, I had mentioned before, I had noticed that we were starting to have a kind of a trend. At this point, I was kind of upset by it because it really started to feel like this match was just getting cooking.
Yeah, 100%.
These two had great chemistry. Everything was we didn't even get I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but did we not get what Stephanie's twisting move off the top rope?
Nope.
Why though? And that's my big thing is this. It's WrestleMania. Why is the women's world title match going 8 minutes? I can find an excuse for with the exception of Becky and AJ, just because of the sheer star power in that match. I can find an excuse for every single other match going short.
Yeah.
But it's the women's world title match.
on the Royal Rumble winner.
Yes. So
you didn't even give her the main for winning the Royal Rumble, which was a problem unto itself. But then they just breezed through a very TV match, got the title change. Liv Morgan is going to be able to come out of this fine because she's Liv Morgan. This did not make Stephanie Vaquer look good at all.
No, I would agree with you on that. I think if anybody gets hurt off of this, it's her, because she's had such a great year, and to have this be her WrestleMania moment, like,
it just happened and it was over and that was it.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm going to be really interested to watch this next season of Unreal, because someone explaining to me why all these matches went as short as they did in a WWE world is going to be a fascinating soundbite for 2026, I think.
Yeah. But like, God, was this the most corporate mania?
I mean, like, they've been gearing towards it for a while. This, at some point on this show, like, don't get me wrong, like, you know me well enough, Kyle, to know that like WrestleMania is a big day for me, and I get excited, and I get the snacks and the drinks, and we have a good time and what have you.
Yeah, we ate pizza. It was a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. But this was so many ads. And again, one of our callers is again sitting behind me. We are going to hear from him in just a little bit, talking about tonight's WrestleMania. Yeah, no, like, it was a lot of ads. But I digress. Kyle, let's keep going.
Main event: Randy Orton alongside Pat McAfee challenging Cody Rhodes for his undisputed championship.
Before you start.
Oh, actually, no. Sorry. Before we get into this match, we should make note of a couple things that came before this, which was
that's right. Yes.
John Cena came out to announce the crowd, which, oh, by the way, was 10,000 fewer people than last year's announced crowd. That's not great. That's not great, y'all.
Yeah.
You brought it back to Mania because you were worried about ticket sales, or you brought it back to Vegas because you were worried about ticket sales. And then the ticket sales were not
drastically less tickets in Vegas the second time around.
That's not great.
Listen, Vegas is a good market for wrestling, but like, you run the same show 2 years in a row, and then in between those years decide to inflate your ticket sale or your ticket prices like 200%, you're going to lose some people. Like, you have to remember that pro wrestling. That's right. You have to remember pro wrestling is it is a middle class love. You know what I mean? Like, if the people who are paying the ticket prices to go to these shows are middle class families and people who grew up with not a lot. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's some rich wrestling fans out there. We know Tony Khan's one of them. But what I'm saying is that you're not going to get people into the arena with $3,000 tickets for nosebleeds.
Yeah. And then so Bianca Belair came out and announced she's pregnant. Happy for Bianca. Very excited to see addition to the family, her and Montez Ford. With it, wish them best of luck. Happy and healthy for the child. Excited to see Bianca back when she comes back, but obviously family's the most important thing. So very, very cool.
What did you think of John Cena as the host? He only had 2 segments. He was fun. He seemed so relaxed in comparison to like before.
I'm hoping there's going to be more to it on day 2.
Okay.
Than this, but he was just kind of. But again, we didn't get a lot of segments on this main.
It's true. You're right. It was kind of match batch of commercials for 10 minutes and then another match.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot to this Mania. So we'll see what we get on night 2. But like,
where was Danhausen? He's been all over.
They had a blimp. They had Blimphausen.
They did have
going around. Jesus. Main event. Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, Pat McAfee.
Before you give your thoughts, I feel like this is kind of unprecedented. I know this because we were texting during the match. You were actually pretty happy with most of this match.
The match was good. Like, I agree with you, and you said off air, you said that. I'm glad we got the Pat McAfee stuff out of the way early, which we mostly did.
Sure.
But that whole thing was really weird. But
it led to them being able to have a match without the constant thought process with the fan base of being, where's Pat? When's he gonna get involved in this? Like, it just it gave that breath of fresh air that I think this program needed. Which also, like, again, Randy Orton's promo on SmackDown, where was that this whole build? They were too busy worrying about what Pat thought about the Attitude Era. But there was a lot on SmackDown that I'm like, this should be either on Mania or it should have been part of every bit of Mania. But regardless, this was really good. Like, Randy Orton worked a really good match with Cody Rhodes at his pace too. It wasn't like these guys worked like a ridiculous Young Bucks pace. It was slow to start, but it built. I think the big moment when you saw Randy get cut open, the crowd changed at that point pretty drastically.
And Cody was targeting the back. Like, Randy was selling his back for most of this match. Cody targeted the back. And I said pretty early, this is a Cody Rhodes heel turn. Cody, we saw Cody go to some heel tactics. He went after the wound. At one point, he took the blood off of the wound and wiped it on his dream tattoo off of the wound in Randy Orton. Cody got cut open at some point during this too. Got his hair was starting to red. There were a lot of good stuff, a lot of great stuff in this match. That Cody cutter turned into an RKO was a great spot. Cody hitting the RKO was great. Randy Orton hit the what is Cody's finisher called? Oh my god.
The Crossroads.
Yeah, hit Crossroads. That was really cool. There was a lot of great building up in this match. We got Pat McAfee coming back, which was 8,000 kinds of weird, but whatever. He got an RKO because Randy Orton hates friends like Kevin Owens hates friends. Right. And Randy goes for the low blow. Cody low blows him back. Cody, after Pat McAfee gets the RKO, Cody hits Crossroads on Randy. 1, 2, 3. Pin. And then after the match, Cody, who had worked heel the whole match, got a belt to the face, and Randy Orton standing tall after a punt kick. That's your Mania. What? This is WrestleMania, Paul. Let stories end. This is still going? It's Mania. Are you kidding me? I have no words for this. The match itself was great. Bell to bell. Excellent. One of the best Randy Orton matches I've seen in quite a while.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Like, these two it wasn't this ridiculous pace or anything like these two.
But the story was great.
Yes, the story of the match was great. Both guys getting a little, even Randy Orton got a good bit of color. Cody's got the advantage of having the bleach blonde hair soaks into his hair and it looks great. But like, these guys look like they beat 2 bells into each other by the end of this, and 10 bells. And it really was a great. This was everything I wanted John Cena and Cody Rhodes to be last year.
100%, you know what I mean? And that was great. And then after the match, we're continuing the feud, clearly.
Yeah.
And we can't confirm what was very obviously a Cody Rhodes heel turn, because it's all part of the show, guys. Let the show end. That's the whole point of WrestleMania, is that the show ends. This Mania, bell to bell, not a bad Mania. Few good matches, a couple particularly quite good matches between Gunther and Seth Rollins.
All of tonight would have been better with 10 extra minutes.
And this is the big problem.
Even the main event went like what, 25 under 25 minutes?
22:40.
Like, and I wasn't begging for it to end either. Like
no,
you could
I was okay with 22:40. Like if you told me going into that it was going to go 22:40, I'd be like, that sounds about right. You could have given this 25 and I wouldn't have felt bad about it. But like, I don't think that this match was hurting for more time, but not everything else was. Gunther Seth could have used another 5. Liv Steph could have used an extra 10.
Yeah.
At least 5 more for Becky and AJ. Even Fatu and McIntyre could have used a bit more time.
Yeah, or something to at least, like, again, I enjoyed the match, but like I do see your point that like it needed a little bit more edge to it.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna make it an unsanctioned match. Like you're using that same nomenclature that AEW uses when they're doing, syringes and staple guns. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is my point. But and I'm not saying you have to go to that level, but you have to give me a little bit more. But the problem with this Mania wasn't the wrestling. It wasn't the product. It was the decision making. Everything was way too short. None of the stories were allowed to end. And there were so many ads.
There were this was Adamania for sure.
No, I would not have paid $600 plus again, because a lot of the fans were probably flying in for this. You're talking about airfare, hotel, and all of this stuff for this. This was all right. The match, like the wrestling was good for what it was, but it wasn't enough of wrestling at WrestleMania.
Yeah. 100%. I will agree with you 100% on that. I'm happy we could.
But that's the thing. Like this whole Mania felt. It wasn't the worst Mania. Night one, especially, but it was the least Mania.
It very much so felt like the pre-show to WrestleMania.
The production felt weak. Which I never say about. I will grant you, the Cody versus Randy video package was really good. But a lot of the other video packages were just kind of fine. There was a distinct lack of pageantry. The entrances were somewhere between okay and like kind of whatever. It felt like a pay-per-view, but not a Mania. And for WrestleMania, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Do you think we're going to be talking about Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes come the end of the year for match of the year?
No.
Okay. All right. I was curious, just like how you felt coming out of this.
I don't think it was that. No, let's be fair. I don't think it was a bad match. Again, I thought the match was great, but especially because, and this is the other thing I can't believe I'm saying, we're clearly building to another one.
Yeah.
So that match might be better, I guess.
We now know that these guys aren't going to have a boring Randy Orton match. So like,
but like, they could. I don't know. But this is the big thing about it is that
that'll be the second match, and then the third match that'll be the big blow off SummerSlam John Cena match.
The main event of WrestleMania, even if it's just a night one, is supposed to have some level of finality. You know, the last few years, at least. Even if the matches weren't whatever, like we got the triple threat last year was the night one closer. That was finality. It was a story. It led to something else, but that's fine. It's supposed to be a refresh. Bloodline and Cody. a little bit different, or Cody and Seth, a little bit different because we were building to that same match on night 2. So it's hard for me to judge on the same level, but it's very much. And then the year before, we had Kevin and Sammy beating the Usos, which was, again, it was a part 1, but it felt final.
Right.
It's not like we're having Cody and Randy part 2 on night 2.
No.
Like
no, so before we start because we are going to take a couple of calls, one of them being an in-house call and the other one being a over the internet call. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about night 2. Kyle, first question to you, over under CM Punk Roman Reigns 30 minutes.
I would have before this, I would have smashed that over. After tonight, I guess so.
It's hard, eh?
Wow. I'm going to say over because they only have 6 matches, and I guess that's why. But some of these matches need time.
Not Oba and Brock, though. Not Oba and Brock.
No,
that needs to be.
I'd say Oba and Brock.
Brock Lesnar and Goldberg from 2016.
Yeah, that should be quick. But that 6-pack ladder match, for example.
Yeah, that should be 20 minutes.
If that goes less than 15,
oof.
And
I mean, if that goes less than 15, the experiment will be how good can these guys get their shit in less than 15 minutes.
And this is my whole point is only 2 matches went 15 plus today.
I know.
And again, I'll say this again. This is the least WrestleMania in quite a while. And that's weird. It is weird. This Mania wasn't bad, but it was weird. It felt cheap and corporate in a way that, yes, Mania is, it's a show put on by a giant corporation, but it still felt like a celebration of wrestling, even if the stuff behind the scenes was,
I mean, dude, money. A few years ago, we had the Cinnamon Toast Crunch match between Dominic and Ray. I feel like we've been bleeding into this for years now.
Sure.
I will agree with you that this one felt the most just because of the fact that we watched 10,000 fucking ads during it, whether you paid for free ad-free Netflix or not. But also, I just think this is the way that these guys do wrestling. It's entertainment over.
Boy, are we building to WrestleMania blood money next year with all of this. This felt like the most sellout Mania, except they didn't actually sell out the crowd. So what are you even selling out for?
Well, we'll see. We'll see with the current political standings how that next year's WrestleMania actually ends up turning out. We'll find out. Maybe New Orleans will get their WrestleMania after all.
God.
We are going to start the calling portion of the show. If you want to call into the show and give us your thoughts on WrestleMania 42, we are going to open up the lines to say so to say. For that, I've opened up to the link in the group chat, I've opened up the opportunity in the group chat. We have one caller who's going to call in right away. But for now, my friend Niall, who recently joined me and DK for the last episode of World's Funniest Podcast, joined me for his first WrestleMania front to back this year. And he potentially is going to be jumping in. You come on in here. He's potentially going to be jumping in for tomorrow night. You just lean down so the people can see you. Potentially going to be joining for night 2. And the dog's going crazy now. So, I mean, just overall, Niall, your thoughts about your first WrestleMania?
Well, not my first WrestleMania, but the first live one. Yes. The first time I've seen it, we never really paid for the pay-per-views. But you know what? It wasn't too bad. I didn't mind it, honestly. Of course, definitely the matches were very short, which was confusing. You wouldn't expect that, right? But
for WrestleMania.
I feel like I need to touch on, I feel like the biggest thing for me was that last match, Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. Yeah, it started off kind of slow. I feel like they kind of leaned on the injury a little bit too much, and then it really popped off at the end. And I feel like it didn't disappoint. That was kind of the one portion of it that I was like, okay, this is what it should be. You know, that yeah.
What are you most excited about? Looking forward to tonight too.
Oh God,
we got Punk and Reigns. We got Oba versus Brock. We got a 6-pack ladder match.
As much as I don't like Brock, I feel like that's got to be the match to watch out
be
for.
The first match of tomorrow night is
Oba. I feel like that's going to be a popper. I feel like it's going to start off strong. I feel like that's going to be the match to watch.
Who do you got, Oba or Brock?
I feel like going with the trend the way they're going, I feel like it might be Oba.
Okay.
I feel like that, like, you know, they're kind of doing that switch, you know, taking that generation and bringing the new generation in, and I think that might be the go.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, Niall, thank you.
Hot take.
We'll see you for night 2 then. Unless you
100%. I'll be here.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have another caller on the line. All right, now, thank you for coming on. Another caller on the line, Will Reynolds, is going to join us momentarily as soon as I get my microphone back into the stand here. Comedian and friend who has joined us for a couple of podcasts before, the Oasis over-unders, as well as last year's WrestleMania preview and his own Wallop profile. So, ladies and gentlemen, Will Reynolds. Will,
hey guys, how's it going?
Talk to us about WrestleMania, man.
I think they do it for the casuals because people don't have attention spans. I think that might have been part of the reason why everything was so short. Because they don't give a shit about us. We're gonna watch it every time, no matter what. You know what I mean?
It's fair. That's fair. I never thought about it like that. We live in the TikTok generation.
Yeah.
Maybe there's the TikTok WrestleMania. That's an interesting take.
But it just, again, it's one of those things that feels a little weird, just given that. And that's the thing. They're trying to squeeze as much money out of wrestling fans as they want, and they clearly want to grow their audience. But I don't know. This didn't feel like a grow your audience show. Also, it was very funny. When I should have mentioned this before, but it was very funny. They panned through the crowd for celebrities, and it's like, we really don't have any celebrities.
Yeah.
who want to come to this show. There's like a couple football players, George Kittle drinking everyone's beer for some reason.
George Kittle smashed.
Oh, yeah. His segments were longer than the matches almost.
Oh man,
it's brutal. Some of the shorter ones I didn't like. The Liv match being short, I kind of get. She's the heel and has the group with her. And same with Becky. I think Becky's going to use it as an opportunity to be like, we're done. I didn't cheat. My hand got stuck in the turnbuckle kind of thing. Like, we're done. We're not wrestling again. I beat you. You cheated before. We're done. Because that goes with her whiner persona now.
It's fair. It's fair. It's interesting.
It is one of those things, though. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask Will, what do you think your match of the night was?
Probably Cody, Randy. It was a weird ending to bring Pat back out at that point, and then just to RKO him for no like.
Yeah, that was the only part of the whole thing. Like Randy turning on Pat, like
get him. I was him for saying get him. It's like, wasn't that the point to get him? Like,
I don't know, like it felt like it was just lazy booking, a reactionary lazy booking. Oh, they don't like Cody and Randy together, so let's just have Randy turn on them at WrestleMania. Because now, how do you do your Randy and Pat versus Cody and Jelly Roll match? Are we just going to
make them watch Hogan Rock WrestleMania? That's how you do when the crowd's turning. That's how you do it. They had to have known that was going to come. They have known for weeks that
But they worked. Cody worked the heel.
Yeah.
Cody worked the match heel.
Cody couldn't be a face if he released the unredacted Epstein list. People do not like him. They do not like him. Like the casual, like little kids like him because he's all rah, rah, rah. He's got like, who's a good guy that has a neck tattoo for crying out loud? No one. Honest, think about it. Who?
Especially that neck tattoo.
It's odd.
That's funny.
It's odd.
Will, what are you looking forward to about night 2?
What are the ladder match? Probably the most.
Okay.
If I'm honest.
You're not a Punk guy.
No, I'm not. I don't hate. I don't know. I do kind of hate him, I guess. Just
you convinced yourself that.
Because he seems bitter. It's kind of like a Bret Hart thing for me. Like,
that's right. You don't like Bret Hart.
No, it's like he's jaded. Like I liked Bret when I was a kid, but then I don't know. By the time the Attitude Era came around, I was just like, you just whine. Like, and I think that was part of his thing, if I'm honest. Like, I feel like the screw job that's the way he wanted to be done in my mind. I don't know. I don't hate Roman though. He's all right. He didn't stand a chance. He was one of the force-fed. It's like Cody doesn't stand a chance as a face, in my opinion, because he's being force-fed, and the smart fan doesn't want that. They want Rusev Day. They want to be able to choose. I like Danhausen. I'm going to organically get MJF over on my own. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm actually, it's curious. It's funny you bring up Danhausen. That's one question I wanted to ask anyone who was on the show before we got out of here tonight. Kyle, you were a fan of Danhausen when he was in AEW. Yeah. What are your thoughts on him in WWE so far?
I think he's been doing well. I think it's a nice inclusion. Again, it's a weird timing thing. He got over very quickly in WWE, which I think is great. And it is one of those things that is an underrated component of having 6 hours of television every week is you got to fill it with something. And Danhausen is something different that gets you to, he can eat 5 minutes of your screen time every week and be entertaining. And there's a lot of value to that. I do think it would be nice to see him on, to see him have something to do at Mania. I was expecting to see him in night 1. I might expect to see, interaction between him and maybe Cena on night 2, but who knows?
Co-host
yeah,
for sure.
That's a great play and a great idea, and why they didn't think to do it
Cena's
on night 1.
He's kind of a funny guy.
Yeah, he can be.
He can play, and he's quick.
He's also
I'm not the biggest Cena fan, but he's quick on his feet.
But he's also a very good straight man for wackiness. Like,
absolutely.
If you saw Southpaw Regional Wrestling, like as Lance Catamaran was fantastic because he was a great straight man. And he can play that role really well. And alongside Danhausen's, incessant wackiness, he can make that work for sure.
Well, Will, before we let you go for the end of the show here, do you have any dates you want to plug? Because I know you're going around Kingston and you're constantly doing stand up. So if you got any dates, do it.
May 2nd, I'm doing Homegrown live in Kingston. Something in the Water. We're doing comedy. 2nd year in a row. Surprisingly, they invited us back after we
had him kicked out last year.
Yeah, one of the comedians, Kenny's back. It was Noah. He got kicked out because we kicked a kid out. There was like a 4-year-old kid that hijacked half the show, and then there was an incident.
That's the most the stand-up comedy story. We kicked a 4-year-old out of the
and then
the show.
Yeah. And my set. I wasn't going to change my set at all.
Oh,
I was looking, not. And we do it like a shotgun style, so we don't know when we're up. Like the first comedian will get called, and then you draw a name as you do as you finish your set. Right. And I'm just praying, please, before this kid leaves, let me teach him the birds and the bees. And I didn't get my chance. Yeah.
All right, Will, before we let you go, worst match of night one for you. What was the worst match?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to say the Fatu McIntyre was disappointed. I think it could have ended a little. Because I watched the ref, he started with the black gloves, like, oh, there's going to be blood. And then there was nothing. And I'm like, they should have ended with, I don't know, like the Fatu. The moonsault's fine. Do it on the outside, maybe through the table. Falls count anywhere. They're both out cold, but he pinned him. I don't know. Because then no one, like McIntyre got protected. I didn't want to see anyone get to lose anything. Like, because it was kind of a no win. Or it's a win, no, like a lose situation. And they handled it pretty well, but I don't think the match was very good.
It's fair. That's fair. All right, Will. Thank you very much, Will, for coming on the show and giving us your thoughts on WrestleMania 42 night one. We will be doing calls tomorrow night as well, so feel free to call back.
If I am, yeah, because it's 4:20 on Monday, and I work in a kitchen, so I'm not expecting to be. So I might not even be able to stay up. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Thank you again. Anyone check out at Will Reynolds Comedy on all the social medias. He's a hilarious guy and a good friend. Thank you again for coming on.
Well, the second part's all right. Thanks, guys.
Easy, man. Yeah, thank you, mate.
All right, Kyle. Before we get out of here, I just want to make a big push right now. Everybody who is watching us or who has watched us tonight, tomorrow, whenever you're watching this, if you don't already follow us on YouTube, it is simply youtube.com/Wallop Media Inc. That is where you're going to find all of our most recent episodes every Friday. When the audio editions of our episodes drop, the video versions will be dropping going forward. We have uploaded a ton of content. I think we're up to 20 videos right now of content from the past and the more recent stuff that we've been doing. I encourage everybody to go out and check it out. We have been working together for a long time, and we're having a lot of fun. And before I throw to Kyle for the final thoughts, RJ Spearin, Maisie Mulder, these two have been working for us for a while. RJ, obviously, from the beginning, helping us do all of the sound, music, what have you on this program. He does it all himself. You can find anything that he does on the Linktree link here, down here. Spear King Co. is his company. If you want to get good audio stuff done, this guy's a great person to look at for that. Anytime you want artwork done, MaisieMulderDesigns.com is a great place to get any artwork done. Anything you see artwork-wise that hasn't been done recently, because I've been dabbling with some AI, which I was told to do by Miss Maisie Mulder, because she's a busy lady, and doing a schedule every month can get a little bit taxing. So that being said, Kyle, final thoughts before we get out of here for night one.
Oh, this was, the least mania in a while. I really hope night two gives us a little bit more, because
here's my prediction, man. Here's my prediction. We're getting the bloodline reunited by the end of the show, and I think the whole bloodline's coming out to bow to Roman becoming champion again. The tribal chief coming back. Do you think that's cinema enough for you?
No. That's cinematic, certainly. It's in the story. Where do you go with face Roman?
We'll find out. I guess. Well, I mean, again, we don't know. We're still 24 hours away from having this discussion about what the fallout was to WrestleMania. I will say I was shocked by some of the decisions made tonight. So I thought Randy was going over. I thought for sure that Lash and Nia Jax were going to continue to be tag champions. So I was shocked by a lot of the decisions they made tonight. Will they shock me tomorrow night? We will find out. That being said, Kyle, this has been great. Why don't you send the people home happy?
Thank you so much for listening all the way to the end of this. We appreciate each and every single one of you, and you have been walloped. Happy Mania season.
Happy Mania season.